Welcome back to another episode of A Record of My Father. Today we're going to be talking about Cinsily, the new place that we created. No, it's we went to Cincinnati, what was it, in October,
And
and
Sicily.
also Sicily, yeah. Hence the
And we're going to talk
Sabaro
about
shirt.
Cinsily, Cincinnati, and Cinsily, because we wanted to play on the Sin word,
We
right?
wanted to just say something difficult. We wanted to just
Yeah.
format it really
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled
difficultly.
peppers. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? A woodchuck could chuck wood.
But we
Woodchuck
visited
would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck, and woodchuck could chuck wood.
we visited a friend in Cincinnati, Brian. Brian, shout out Brian, and we but he performed the only Kurt Vonnegut play ever written. So that was a fantastic time.
Oh
What
my God, a
else?
fish called Wanda.
Yeah, or Happy Birthday one to June. There we go. You almost got me there. You almost got me
I
there.
know, isn't it funny? I know that every time I thought of it when we talked about the play, I kept thinking of Fish Called Wanda. I'm like, no, it's not. I, I know it's Wanda in there, and I know, but there ain't no fish. And yeah. And it's Vonnegut, so it's burn the books, burn fish. No, burn Vonnegut. No, burn Wanda. No. Well, whatever. That's the way the quick
But
mind works.
yes, it was in the basement of a church. It was an indie theater troupe. I can't remember the name, but we will link that in the description of this video as
Ryan's
well.
true.
Yeah, but it's I think Rupert is the director, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly.
Oh, I don't remember.
And then I met another man there that was an assistant to Rupert.
Hmm.
Charlie, was it? Or Kevin? I can't remember, but he was also
Whose
great.
mom did you meet?
Whose mom did I meet? Oh, who
We
was
sat, we
that?
got to sit in the
Oh,
front
she
rate.
taught
Remember we sat in the
theater,
front
yeah.
rate? Yeah, and she
At
taught theater. She was like so nice.
the
And then
Thayer.
you guys went outside and smoked cigarettes.
We did. We smoked cigarettes and we talked about the play like people in New York do, but it was in Cincinnati. It was a good
Yeah,
time. But
yeah.
she taught theater for a long time. And I think she's retired and then just kind of doing reviews for a local theater in
So
Cincinnati now.
we got in Friday and then we left Monday. Monday.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and when I landed in Friday, I call it Cincinnati. And at every place and every bar and every place we went to, I would start out with, "Oh my God, we're in Cincinnati." and and you changed the way I spoke by Sunday. I think by Sunday early when
You can't really say that in a bar with overcrowded people from the city that you're in. You can't really do that. You can be ignorant on your own time, but just not in public where you're going to make
Okay.
me fight them. And I didn't want to do that. I wasn't really feeling
Oh,
to jump the
yeah.
gun on a bunch of
Hey,
drunk
old man,
people.
quit. You what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want to fight a bunch of drunk people because they're not going
I
to beat
did kind
you
of
up
think it
because
was,
you're old.
yeah,
Yeah,
because they're like, oh, we're not going to beat up the old people. We're going to beat up the young guy, right?
exactly. That's how it always ends up
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Have your kid get beat up. That would not be good.
Yeah, and it would be all your fault. But
Do you know how much
what
grief
was
I'd
it?
get from mom?
Oh yeah, quite a bit, quite a bit. It's kind of too late to have another one, right? I guess you could adopt. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, we could buy one, but I
You,
mean, I understand they're pretty cheap in some places, but
there's no
I don't know if
rental
it,
either. I don't think anymore. But
yeah.
what was I
Well,
thinking
that's
about?
that's grandparents, right?
Oh yeah, in a way, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, that's what I think. What I looked at is like when I look at the two cities that we went to and we visited, well, we did one in two cities is, I mean, Sicily's an island that had multiple cities on it. Cincinnati is a city that has multiple neighborhoods in it, and we visited many of the different neighborhoods. That was kind of cool,
And for those curious
you
out
know.
there, Sicily does not have any Sabaros. I was
Yeah.
frankly very upset about that. Hence the Sabaro
Yes.
shirt that I'm wearing now. Put that
Yeah.
up for the camera here.
We have
Um,
some
I was told otherwise by my parents that there was going to be many Sabaros. That was, in fact, was not true,
you
and
lied to it.
I was lied to. And I don't think, you know what? I think what did somebody I know say one time? It's like America has taken everything from around the world and just made it better internally, which I think is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. But
But in this one case, it turned out to be true.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the pizza was they gave us what was it? It was like a margarita pizza, and they
Oh
didn't even
yeah.
strain the mozzarella. There was water, about an inch of water on top of it, and it was
Yep.
ice cold.
Yep.
And if you've ever
It
eaten
was a little warmer
hatred,
than ice. It was liquid ice, so it was like 34.
Exactly. If you
You're
have
like,
ever eaten hatred, that's what it felt like. I said, why do they hate us so much? It
yeah,
felt very I don't know,
it
aggressive.
was,
It was an
well,
aggressive manner of cooking.
it was hotel. We were outside the city. That was in Valley of the Temples. That was the second city we stayed in. It was Agrigento, right?
Argento.
We, yep.
Yeah.
And we did I mean, the view from the hotel was actually one of the oldest perfectly kept Parthenons in the world. It was from 2,700 years ago, and you look out your window and it's like maybe a football field away, to use American measurement.
You got to when you're measuring European landmarks. That
Exactly.
works.
And you could see it. It was absolutely stunning, the quality and what it looked like. And then you could see when they talked about how they built it. And now each one of the posts is, broken down into sections. But we kind of jumped away from Cincinnati. We are talking about that. I want to jump back to it and say that, when I look at the two cities as general, we were in Cincinnati for 3 days. I took 31 pictures. We were in Sicily. We were in Palermo. We were in Taormina, and we were in Agrigento. If I'm probably bastardizing the pronunciation, and I took 470 pictures. So the difference is like what you had to look at and what you had to see. Cincinnati met, you know, now I guess what do we call Brian?
Brian, oh, my older brother.
Yeah, we called him a second son, and just we got to see him act, and we were I was not surprised. He captured the character, he delivered it. It was really really good. The play in general, I was surprised by because uh, I always think when I'm going to go to a lot of these plays that you're going to have some less than stellar actors, and I didn't get it. There was, they had people that were. I mean, no offense to Cincinnati, but I did not think that you would have what I would view as great, believable actors in a small time production.
I completely agree
Surprised
with
me,
that, especially
and
being an
that's where I'm going. It's
indie
like,
theater troupe, right? And that
yeah,
was really really shocking to me as well. That
yeah,
the talent, the amount of talent in Cincinnati, and also
yeah,
the
God.
food was really really good.
Oh yeah,
It was
Skyline Chili,
incredible.
take me home, baby.
Maybe not
Yeah.
that, but absolutely everything else from the bar food. Because I when we were in a couple bars there, I think there
Yeah.
was one called I don't remember, and we ate
That was
we
the best one I've ever been at. I don't remember.
it was a lot.
I've been there many times.
It was a lot of chicken. It was very chicken based there.
Yeah.
And we ate wings and tenders. And I gotta tell you, the bar food there was cheaper and probably on a larger scale better than LA bar food.
So if you want to go to the same bar, just go to the I don't remember.
Well,
And
if
it's
you want
pretty
to
easy.
move to LA, just move to Cincinnati. That's what I think. I think that's what we're learning
Well,
here.
I was just going to say drink a bottle of tequila and you can go to the I don't remember bar. I don't know if
Always
the
love
food's
that
as
bar.
good there.
In my research, the I don't remember bar is generally created by about 8 to 9 shots of tequila in less than an hour.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. It's then we talk about speed because that's yeah.
Yeah, the speed is
It's
generally it's not the consumption, it's the consumption
it's
rate.
not the quantity, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, you take
consumption rate.
the what do you call those Tavis tumblers
Oh, Tervis
that are
tumbler.
like 24 ounce, and you throw a bunch of ice in there, you fill it to the top, you go into I don't remember.
Oh yeah, going on. I don't remember town. But
Yep.
yeah, the chicken was really good.
Yeah.
And what else? We ate brunch there as well. I don't remember what I
Hmm.
got. Do you remember it was like a sausage biscuit kind of thing?
I remember it was easy in, easy out. Food was really good. Hotel was stupid expensive.
Why was it so expensive too? Because it wasn't
Uh,
high
I think it's because
season.
yeah, it was like
Cincinnati, I didn't even know
Holiday
that
Inn
Cincinnati would
Express.
have a high season, right?
Yeah, it
I
was
wouldn't.
$650 a night.
That's crazy. That's what are we
Yeah.
in New York? I don't.
Yeah, I was really shocked. I don't know what it was, but it was the location was in the one of the districts. But also, we could walk right to the theater. We had everything that was really good. We could walk everywhere we wanted to go. Uh, we could walk to the liquor store. We walked around the whole city, the midtown. You, the thing I would say is that when you walk in these smaller cities, like when we walked around Louisville, my God, the middle of the city is empty. I mean, when I say empty, not of people, it's empty of businesses. You see business after business after business. That we saw this at Kentucky Derby when we went to Louisville. They're shuttered. Everything shuttered. Cincinnati, there's some of that. Well, then there's a fair amount of it, not nearly as bad. Cincinnati was like there was lively areas complete, whereas Louisville was just a very small place in the middle of the city that was very vibrant. But then outside of that was just it was like a portion of the old. It's like they took the whole city when it was big and vibrant, and then they took a small component of it, and that's what was alive. But everything outside of that, like when we walked in Louisville, we're like, "Whoa,
Cincinnati was
this
more
is empty."
populated as well, far more populated. There was a
Yeah,
lot more people
yeah,
walking around.
yeah,
Louisville, a lot of for rent signs, a lot of emptiness. Yeah, I think that
yeah,
you had that
yeah.
main drag, which I can't
I
even
know.
remember what it was called in Louisville, with the
Yeah,
over kind of outdoor theater thing.
yeah.
And other than that, that was pretty much it.
Nothing.
That was
It
pretty
was
much it.
empty.
Other
Very
than the
strange.
casino, there was only slots, no table games.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That was kind of a interesting thing.
no, but
Well,
for
we went to
Ohio, I was
remember.
surprised. Yeah, it was a really, really
Yeah,
nice city.
yeah. The casino. We went to the casino. Yeah, that was the first crazy too much. That was wild.
And this is
That
our
was a
first
great time.
commercial for Hard Rock, what is it?
Cafe.
Casino and hotel. If you
Well, the
were in
sad thing is I
Cincinnati,
didn't get a
Ohio.
sweatshirt.
Yeah, I didn't either. I should have gotten one. I want
Yeah,
to start that collection that you had in the 90s or in the 80s or something.
pink,
When you used to
pink
go,
sweatshirts. For some reason, I don't know why that was impressive to me, but I love the idea of doing pink sweatshirts when I went to a different city, and this would be from 25 or 26 to almost 30. It's because I was 28. And it was sort of like I was dating people in different cities. And each time I went to a city, the way I would meet them is we would go to Hard Rock Cafe and I would, we'd go out and do whatever we do. And
go eat the
I would
ostrich
buy a
burger.
sweatshirt.
The ostrich burger.
Oh, usually I ate the burger
The
every
ostrich?
time. And
Ostrich burger?
no, just the cheeseburger in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Florida, of all stupid places. I don't remember where. I can't. Uh, Vegas, LA, Texas. I was Dallas. I'm just trying to remember all the different places, and there were different people. So
And for our
the good old
younger
days.
listeners out there, this is before they had the calorie counts on the menus, which now read about what is it? It's worse than Cheesecake Factory, which I
Oh
thought
my
nothing
God.
in the world was worse than Cheesecake Factory caloric wise.
Philadelphia Hard Rock Cafe went to and got the burger. And the burger was 1,700 calories.
For one burger,
It
that's
was
insane.
yeah, it was more than Red Robin, which is just enough to. I mean, you eat at Red Robin and you got to have it one open, you know,
The aortal canal.
aortal, the other two. So it's because one's going to close. So you got to have two open so one can close. And you
That's
hear it,
pretty
you
good.
hear, and that's your valve closing when you eat that much grease and shit.
Yes. Yes, indeed. What was mine I always went to was the onion one. They get the onion rings on top of it with
God,
the
yeah,
fried onion. That was really good.
yeah. Was that the Red Robin?
The yeah, a Red Robin.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the burgers seemed a little bigger there. Were they like a
They
third of
were
a pound? I know
gigantic.
that.
Well, the bun itself was like 3.5 inches. It was like
Yeah.
this big. It was crazy
Okay, so the
huge.
bun is like 1,500 calories.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bun itself, and then they have to fry the
Yeah.
bun in butter so it doesn't rip apart, but it does anyway.
Right. Yeah.
I hate when that happens. You
Exactly.
ever eaten a burger and then the bun just falls apart?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I really just and you got a giant
Well, when
tomato,
you,
and then you're using the tomato as a bun, and it's just a bastardization of a
yeah,
sandwich at that point. And
it's
then you
better to
got
get
like
two.
half the mayonnaise from the
I use
top in your right
cucumber
hand, and
slices.
half the
Cucumber slices.
mayonnaise in the other left hand, and it's just you got the pickles all over your toes, and it's not going great.
Well, it's kind of like when you use two pieces of fried chicken to hold a cheeseburger together.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. I like that idea.
It sounds like a KFC idea, you know?
I remember the Cajun pasta at the Pyramid restaurant. the interior decorated. Oh, Cheesecake Factory. There we go. They
Hmm.
have like an Egyptian style in there that I just adore.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I had thought about
It's
that. When you
every
said the pyramid,
man's
I was thinking of Vegas immediately.
dream and it's
And
every
the
woman's
Phoenician.
nightmare on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the Cajun Creole pasta or something. It's about this big. For
Yep.
those listening, I would say about 3.5 feet plate, and then it's on the menu. It's 2,800 calories,
Yeah.
2,800 for the full portion size, and you can't get the
Yeah.
half portion, of course not.
Yeah.
But then you go there to you satisfy your relatives that are picky, and that's really what it's
Hmm.
for. I think that they thought that they were going to make a restaurant modeled after all the big families that nobody knows what they want to eat, and then they
Yeah.
came out
There's
with the
600 items on the menu, and then I remember seeing like 3 or 4 years ago when they were bragging they cut it down to 400. And you're thinking like, what?
the Cheesecake Factory. It's a Bible, almost
Yeah.
the Bible of the Cheesecake Factory.
Well, everything's got to be frozen then. It's got to be it's got to be incredibly difficult to make good food with that many different variations from shrimp to pizza to
Sushi.
yeah, to sushi. I mean, really, and cheesecake and ice cream sundaes and apple fritters. And I mean, you go like, what the hell? Spaghetti meatballs and Chinese food. They have like Asian salads, and you're just like, holy shit! To do all of that good is got to be you know hard. And did they do almost all the dishes good to well.
I would say
They don't
good to
do any.
well is a fair rating. I'd
Yeah,
say about a 5.5 you're gonna peak out at. You're gonna peak out
yeah,
about a 5.5 out of 10 there.
yeah.
Except for the fried
But
macaroni and cheese balls. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
those
I've
are about
been
a nine.
eating those since I was about 3 years old.
Yeah,
And I think
yep.
the cheesecake was a very formidable part of my childhood. And
Yeah,
that we
I ate a lot of Godiva chocolate cheesecake.
I think your weight gain was my fault. I think that's really
Yeah, it's all your fault. No, it was
it's
your
all my
mother. She
fault.
got pregnant, and then I gained 20 pounds.
It's all her fault for getting pregnant. It's
Yep,
nobody else's fault. But
yep.
yeah, the macaroni and cheese balls were freaking excellent. They have an egg roll sampler dish now,
Oh yeah,
which all
yeah,
of them are pretty much garbage except for the avocado egg
yeah.
rolls. So they came out with another menu item, just the avocado egg rolls, because they realized how terrible the other ones are. I think that
Hmm.
that was a good marketing point.
Yep.
Let's just keep mentioning restaurants until we get corporate sponsorship. How does that
There
sound?
we go. Well, we were talking about Cincinnati and Sicily. So Sicily, let's move to the next one. We were in Palermo. The we booked this really quick. It was 11 days. Zach and I were supposed to go to Tibet, and it fell through because we couldn't get visas. I could get a visa to get into China, but China is being very restrictive on getting visas to go to Tibet. You have to go as a group. We are two of us. We said we'd be a group. They're saying you can't be a group. You got to be 10 if you're going to be a group. My tour operator said, "Well, we'll be members of your group." And then I started to worry. And then he said, "Oh, just tell them you're not going to go to Tibet. Tell them you're going to come here, and then we will get you there." And then uh, I decided not to go to China and lie to the authorities to get into their country and go to Tibet. We ended up in a very quick way booking this Sicily trip. We were going to go to where were we going to go?
I'm just happy we didn't use the Chinese coyote. That would have been
Oh yeah,
not
I feel
great.
like
When he
I feel
said
like
that
you
we
guys would still
were
be dealing with it.
he'd be smuggling us in basically. And I feel like out of all the governments in the world, the Chinese and the Russian government aren't two governments that you want to lie to. I don't know what it
Korean,
is
North
about
Korean
that.
would be there's those three, and it's like I just feel like that they publicly taken Americans and withheld them and then returned them dead. So I didn't feel like that was a good choice.
When was this? What country?
Well, the last one was North Korea.
Oh, with
Yeah,
Otto, yeah. Because he went to
yeah, yeah,
UVA, and there
yeah.
was always some talk
Russia
about him.
grabbed a couple journalists.
Brittany Griner as well was there.
China, I don't know if they've grabbed anybody recently. I don't know, and
Not
it's
to my
sort of
knowledge.
like
Well, they
back and
want
forth.
tourism now. Because I'm going on Instagram, I'm
Yeah,
seeing all
well,
of these
that's so.
ads.
Well, what they say and what their government actually is really wanting could be two different things. So. And they do want us to go to mainland China. They didn't want us to go to Tibet. We could have gotten easy visas to go to Shanghai
Shanghai
or
or
going to
something.
Beijing. And I've been to Beijing. I've never been to Shanghai. That would have been cool to, go there and take the 3 hour train and say, what the heck's wrong with the US? We can't have a train that's 3 hours long from DC to Chicago, you know,
There is something
but
about
they
getting on a
can.
plane for 9,000 hours straight shot. That is
Yeah,
but
well, it's
we were
also, yeah,
originally we were gonna go through Turkey originally, right? Which
yeah,
doesn't
but yeah,
really
I mean, and there's a direct to Beijing that's 13 hours out of Dulles, so we could have done that, but
that would have made more sense. I don't know why we went through Turkey.
it was
If it was cheap.
$13,000 per person. That's why we went to
Well, that's
Turkey.
maybe why we did that then. That's probably a good answer. Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
probably a good answer
there's
to
like a
that.
level of how much you know, what you want to spend to go somewhere, and that was each way. That was
That was each way, not round trip.
not round trip.
Yeah, no, now I'm seeing
They're
why
like,
we
"Are you
went
kidding me?"
through
It's like,
Turkey.
"Oh yeah,
That
it's
makes
twenty
a
six
lot more sense.
thousand to go there and come back," and you're just like, "That's yeah, that's nuts,
No, that is a little bit insane
over the
and
top." Yeah,
very egregious pricing on that. But
yeah.
Palermo was cool. That was nice. We did a bunch of walking tours. We did a lot
What
of
did
walking
you?
tours.
I think that when I look at Palermo, that we made a mistake because we booked too many tours.
Oh, I
And that
completely
goes
agree.
that goes to me because I really pushed it. And we were going to go to Croatia or Budapest or one of the places there. We were talking about that, and then the wife came up with the idea of going to Sicily, and it's like, okay, let's do that. And so September 28th, we booked an October what's up 13th trip.
Yeah, it was really, really quick.
Yeah, it was like 15 days, and we were like, well, can we go on the first? And she's like, I need to set this up. So she came back with a very, very intense, uh, what do you call it,
Itinerary.
itinerary. And I didn't, or no one looked at it too, I didn't look at it too deeply. I didn't take anything off of it. And we said, yes, let's do it. It was pricey, but I was like antsy as hell. So we went and we had like too much to do. So we ended up canceling about 20% of it, the back half. But in the front end, we were doing a lot of walking, a lot of stuff. We saw everything, but I think the one thing I learned on this trip, and I need to remind myself this, is that you don't need to see every church in a city that's beautiful and wonderful because there's beautiful churches all over the world in every major city except for maybe Moscow, North Korea, and any place in China. you know, they'll have temples, but they won't have. So at some point, that's a whole lot of wasted look and thought. I think the idea that I mean, some of our best days have been like in Barcelona or some of the other places where we go and we just meander. Let's go down this road. Let's go down this road. And as long as you got access to YouTube or some taxi, you're fine. But when and people, well, look at what you missed, and it's like, well, but you're there to enjoy each other's company as well as the surroundings. And the architecture in Palermo was amazing. The I think the interesting thing is like our guide told us over and over and over that all of our guides told us over and over and over that everybody was interested in the mafia, and frankly, I didn't give a shit, you know.
Yeah,
And
they
they all
said that
make
there was
jokes,
constant question asking about the mafia. And
yeah,
they said, oh, we're not affiliated. That's not who we are. Because, I mean, the mafia was made there, right? And they
right,
even went into depth about a priest that was
right.
murdered in 93 or something like
That was
that.
the one that really changed the way that, and then they got a lot of people from organized crime and they put him in jail because of that priest dying, because he came out against it and they were like, no, you're not going to be against it. You're not going to be against us. We're going to get rid of you. And they whacked him. And then that was the end of them. So a lot of people point that as the line of demarcation for the separation from the Sicilians from the true mafia. The question is that like most things that are really shitty, it's like racism and homophobia and all that stuff. It just goes underground. It goes underground, but usually it loses a lot of its members because they're not no longer public. And that's what bothers me about the U.S. is that a lot of the the hate is outside and it's out in the open and it's on the social media, so more people feel comfortable hating other things. Whereas,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
when you beat it
Uh,
down and you stomp it into the floor, it's still there. It's not going away. It's just going to get smaller because people are like, you know, well, yeah, remember the mob, and it's like, yeah, yeah, whatever. They don't have any control, and so then people aren't as interested.
if there
And
isn't
I thought
strict
the
regulations, if there isn't people saying that it's bad, it's going to come back. Yeah. No, I've seen
yeah,
that multiple times in this country, at least. People are like, "Oh, I thought we
well,
were
you
done with that." I'm like, "It's never truly done because you're always going to have a
right,
one person teaching another person how to hate another person, and I think
right.
that that
I
will
mean,
be existent until I don't know 2050 or something
I
like
mean, in every big company I was at, I saw sexism, I saw racism, I saw, you know, the thing is that a lot of times it's just like that. It's like, really, you know, it's it's simple as you see an executive see a woman walk out of the room, and he just turns around and looks at her butt, and then he smiles and he doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything
But that's
to
still that
deny anything
behavior
that he did
is
anything.
if it's
What?
not stamped out, yeah, that's not. And a
Yeah,
person
and
of
well,
power
also,
too.
and a person in power does that, and everybody goes like, "Do they smile? What do you do? What do you do in a nervous situation like that?" Oh, I'd report it to HR. Well, he's going to deny it, and you're going to get fucked. And you've just pointed yourselves out. If he's good and well known and does well, you'll be eaten, whatever. If he's a rapid and avid sexist and does it throughout the company, well, as long as the company's doing okay, they're going to keep him. Unfortunately,
It is unfortunate.
only if he's doing bad can you actually go after him. And I've seen this play out over and over and over. Little guy gets fucked, gets dumped out, will never get hired again at any other competitor because they're like, oh, you're an EEOC guy. That's a pain in the ass. So you got to be, and you see it playing out in today's wage where you see people that are frightened of the Orange Man because he goes after people and he hurts them.
So
He
getting back to
financially hurts them.
Sicily, so getting back to Sicily, I feel like you always drag
Yeah,
this into politics for some reason.
I don't know
But
why, but yeah, but Sicily. Remember the buildings that we were walking down these. We're walking down. We're seeing the architecture and how beautiful it is, and we're looking at it and thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is beautiful." And then you see a building, and it's like smooth. It's like government building type thing. We're like, and she's like, "That's the mafia." And it's like, why? It's like they came through and they tore down a bunch of buildings.
oh, and they did the modern homes. That's what yeah,
Right,
she was talking about. And
because
there
they can
was
fit more people in them and they're cheaper to
well, they
make.
were trying to get rid of a historical value of the place as
Yeah.
well, I think.
More money.
Trying to forget about
More,
the history.
you know.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but the Garden of the what is it? The temples, Temple
The
Temple Valley,
Let's see,
Valley of
the
the
Valley of
Temples.
the Temples.
That
Valley of the
was that was
Temples.
cool, but we did a bunch of stuff in the beginning that had temples, and it's kind
Right.
of like churches. So there was a British guys that mom was talking to, and it's like, well, once you've seen one ancient ruin, you pretty much have seen them all. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that on there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
I think that's like the way churches are,
Oh, I completely
you
agree.
know?
Yeah.
But you know what's weird?
What?
I can walk in 100 different parks and it's okay.
Completely different. Well, that's
Why
you're
is that?
actually seeing something different because I think
Yeah.
tr trees and the ground cover, the animals. If you go into Yellowstone, it's not the same as Glacier National Park. It's not the same thing. Two very
Right.
different
But if you
places. You
if you
go
go into the
to,
Sistine Chapel and you go to Notre Dame, it's not the same thing. But they're both
eh,
freaking churches.
kind of, kind of. It's kind of the same thing. Still got the cross up there.
They've got the same dude in the middle.
Still got the
They got the
same
big
dude.
pillars on the side. They got little out spits on each one, whatever they call those
And the
alcoves where they
gold
bury.
leafing and stuff like
It's
that.
all gold, and there's really cool like Michelangelo, Mariangelo's paintings on the ceiling, the roof, the side, the walls. Yeah,
Michelob Ultra Angela.
Michelangelo.
Michelob Ultra Angela. We're gonna
We
get hate
are.
mail on our website for that one.
Yeah,
You know what? I bring on the hate. If we matter enough for somebody to hate us, that means we
yeah.
live rent free in somebody's head. That's a wonderful
That's it,
thing.
man.
That's a
We'll be
wonderful
serving
thing.
Sabaro and Sicily.
We'll be.
That was the shocker.
What was the shocker?
I mean, when I think about it, every person that I told up to, I mean, it wasn't that many because it was a short distance between us booking and actually going to Sicily. But all they said was how wonderful the food was.
A lot of people said that.
I mean, and I would tell you that I would say of all the trips we've been on, with the exception of Antarctica, it's down there. I mean, Vietnam was worse.
You
I had a
didn't like
lot of trips.
fried penguin? You didn't like the fried penguin?
Vietnam, I didn't, it was too much unusual stuff that wasn't. I mean, the great stuff that was there was the food that was the candy and all the snack shit that they gave us when we were riding bikes.
Are you talking? Oh, oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah,
Well, they always
yeah,
brought us to the most touristy restaurant possible.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
was never something that was good because it was always
The ex
mandated on
and
what you think Asian food is as a Westerner. And
right.
that's why it was Oscar the
Yeah,
Grouch garbage can. Is because it was
yeah.
also cheap for the amount of people we were with, which was like
Oh,
30 people as well. And I
was
think
it 30? No, we
because
were on
did
a
we
bike
pay
trip.
do we pay our own
There's like
checks?
no, like 15
No,
of
yeah.
us. It was all inclusive. Everything was covered.
30 or
There was
15?
like there
What
was
was
no,
it?
there was only like 15 of us.
It's like 50 people. And
Like 150
we
people,
went with like
you know,
500 people. And
biking through the rice paddies.
but
That was cool.
I don't really remember. The pho was I don't think I even ate pho there because
I don't know we didn't.
I didn't really know
No, it's
what to
called
eat.
pho. What are you talking about? I remember that
A
in the
little ignorant
conversation.
child. I remember that.
Yeah,
Telling mom
yeah.
that how to pronounce
Yelling at your
a
mother,
word. And I think he
thinking like
was like
Zach, you should beat his ass.
the
But I didn't.
fattest 12-year-old I've ever seen in my life. The
Yeah.
fattest 12-year-old. Oh,
Well, yeah.
but there's nothing wrong with that. It's only if you're ignorant and fat. That's the
Yeah.
part.
No, he
That's
was
the issue.
ignorant. There was nothing about
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Pompous,
care about the
arrogant,
body
and
shape.
ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We do that, don't we?
we.
Wow.
I think it's him.
I
But
don't know, man.
Taormina, you drove through
Yeah, we
the
left Palermo,
with
we
like
picked up a car and we drove to Agrigento, which was we went, is it Agrigento or Taormina?
we drove to Argento second from Palermo.
Argento. That and Argento was the Valley of the Temples, and then from Argento we drove to uh Taormina. And Taormina was on the other side of the island, past Catania, and up on the coast. We stayed at a place that overlooked once again the Mediterranean. I mean, we were very lucky in the beautiful places we stayed. The hotels were like this one. The food was really good, which was very different.
Excellent,
Uh,
almost.
we were walking distance to almost everything. We were on the side of a cliff, so it was very much for those people who've done Amalfi Coast. It was kind of like that. Taormina was because you could walk. There's 1,000 stores within 10 minutes of you.
Don't
There,
drive if you ever go there. There's no reason.
yeah,
We went through a taxi kind of thing because the hotel
yeah,
they never even told us was down like a private road, but the private road was what appeared to be a pedestrian walkway, and people
yeah.
were eating in the alleys and sorts. And we were driving down there, and I don't think it's of nightmares. It's a situation of nightmares when you're driving a car in a small alley and you're hitting the walls like and keep bouncing like pinball. That's exactly what it felt like, except you didn't hit anything, which
You were freaked
was
out. Yeah,
remarkable, which was absolutely remarkable. And I still applaud you to this day on not
yeah,
hitting anything.
yeah. We were driving through the city of Taormina. The width of the streets is probably 14 feet, and the width of the vehicle is about 6. So there is a lot of play on each side, whether you like, but you got to realize that you're driving through crowded streets, number one. Number two, there were a bunch of restaurants that have tables that they put out in the street that you have to duck. I mean, I had people that we were driving down the street. You saw the guy jump up from he was eating there. He's sitting back and he had a beer. He jumps up, he grabs his chair and he moves around the other side because I could have literally grabbed a glass of wine off his table. That's how close I was.
Easily.
And I was like, whoa,
I'm glad we
that
didn't
was,
hit the mirrors because there were corners of
yeah.
buildings that stuck out further than
Oh, yeah,
14
very,
feet.
very close,
I
very
think at
close. It was
times it
good.
got down to about the width of the car almost.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It got narrower, but that was kind of what I was feeling like, and I felt I don't know, I felt pretty comfortable. But and you guys for to give you credit. Usually when people get in a stressful situation, if you're driving, your passengers become complete fucking assholes.
You should
They
have done
scream at you,
this.
"Oh my God!" And just to let you know, that actually doesn't help the driver drive better
You
when
don't
you're
think so?
screaming in their ear and you start to tell him what he's doing wrong. You can point out things that are coming up. Hey, you're running over an elephant. That's cool. But, to tell you that, hey, you just hit that wall back there, I know that.
I think I should have
I
told
was
you what you
driving in the
should have done
car.
before. Some hindsight
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. But I think that I could have told you, well, you really should have done this. This was kind of a dumb idea, right? I
Yeah.
think that would have
Yeah.
helped a lot. I think that would
But
have
we
really,
didn't, but we didn't know. And we didn't, and remember, your mother's reading the thing saying, oh, it says that the GPS doesn't work really well in Taormina. And we're in Taormina driving through knowing that it's not going to work well. Because that's when I pulled over and I'm like, well, that doesn't we need to find the hotel. We couldn't find the hotel. So we drove around and we missed it one time. I missed it the first time. And then we missed it the second time and we're going down through all these side streets and it was comical.
it
And I'm
recalculated
like, I'm
three or
just gonna
four
pull
times.
over and we're gonna send out Zach to be a bird dog to find it and see if we can find the hotel. But it was great. We finally found it. We got there. We parked the car stupidly. This is another thing you do. If you're gonna park your car and not move it again for 5 days, why'd you rent it?
Very good question.
You
Very,
know,
very good question.
yeah.
Because in reality, the airport was 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, we could have done a Uber and been done with it. Excuse
Well, the
me.
drive back
You know.
to the last day, the Catania
Mhm.
airport was an hour and 20 or something.
No.
No, it was like an hour and
It was
10.
50. It was 50
Re-
minutes.
But with the traffic, because
Oh no,
remember,
I drove. That's right. And I got
yeah.
lost once too, remember?
Oh, yeah, you were
I
making
took the
fun of the
wrong turn
guy in the
because you couldn't
roundabout.
really tell where you couldn't tell where you actually turned your cars in. It said turn here to turn your cars in, and it points an arrow on the sign that does a right hand turn, which you think is past the sign, not before the sign. And so I missed it, and then we went around. And it said 38 minutes to do this again, and I was like, screw that, and I did a UE in the middle of the road, and you guys kind of freaked out over that. And then I went back and we found it. We got in. We parked the car. We got out of there. We got to the thing. We got ready to go. We were ready to go home. You get to a point where you're, you know, I love my wife and my kid, but there's a time when you know traveling becomes tiring.
Cumbersome.
Yeah,
Too
that was it.
cumbersome.
But it was, I mean, when I look and think about, just the lackadaisical, lazy, wonderful way that we did it, I think that the intensity of Palermo with all that we were doing an 8 hour tour. We did a 4 hour in the morning and we did a 3 hour in the evening. We did da 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 da. We cooked meals. We do this. We go here. We go this. We see this. We see that. We see this. And then by the time we left there, it's like we were like, do anything. I'm crazy. So we only
Well,
did
to
one or two
defend the
more.
travel agent on the planning thing, I think that when she sent the itinerary, it was open for interpretation to
Oh, no,
edits
no, I was
and
not.
things.
That's why I said
Yeah.
in the beginning that I didn't review it to whittle it down. And I think that's what she was expecting it. And I was like, yeah, that's cool.
I also never read it, so that was also part of it. I also never read it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But we got to go to Mount Etna, an
oh, we
active
did, yeah.
volcano. I mean, that's like our fourth one. That was funny when we were driving. We were driving up Mount Etna, and this is when we're in Sicily. And as our driver said, the most torrential downpour happened. But he took us to the top, and we get out, we're walking through, and then it starts raining. And he said, "Well, have you ever been on the way up?" He said, "Have you ever been on a volcano?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." I said, "I've been on, and you and I have been on Santa Maria, and then I've been on what's the one in Hawaii, and then I was
Maui,
on, and
Eagle
then
Crest,
Kilimanjaro, and then we were in Ngorongoro Crater, which is me in the reverse, and then your mother and I went to Iceland, and I went to the whatever the one in the south of the city there.
the Goo
I've climbed Mount
Lagoon.
Fuji, which is a volcano. Uh, and I was just like, and I started naming. He said, "Do you have a thing for volcanoes?" And I'm like, I, I, I never thought about it.
I was wondering if you ever realized that prior, because when you were talking about it, I'm like, has he ever thought about this?
I never did. That was like this totally new thought that said, you've been to like 9 volcanoes, 3 of which are active when you went. Uh, and I was like, oh my God, I do. I didn't think about that. It's kind of cool, you know. But so that means we have to go to an active one again. I don't know. We'll go to one in Hawaii. We'll go to one in South America or Central America.
Go
You
walk on
know,
the magma.
yeah. I don't. I'm not that hot for it.
Hmm.
I don't
No
mind
pun
going near
intended
it,
or
but
no
I'm
pun intended?
pun,
Pun
no
intended.
pun, middle pun, whatever the pun. But oh, anyway, we went up Etna. We landed. I learned something new about myself about volcanoes. I learned that from the driver. Great guy. He talked about the horror of COVID and how it affected them there and how everything shut down and how he had to change jobs because he was a hotel guy and now he was a tourist guy. Got married, working on having kids, mid 30s, you think? Something like
Late
that.
30s.
Late 30s. Uh, and he takes us there and then we're hiking and we hiked maybe about a mile and a half, maybe. I
Each
think.
way, you think? Or total?
I don't know. I can't.
It
I
was
don't have a little
raining, so I
guesstimate.
don't really know.
Yeah, it was drizzling when we got out of the truck, and it started to rain more and more and more, and it was pouring. And then we got to like we got to a lot of overlook points for Mount Etna. But Mount Etna was completely shrouded in clouds. We have a picture that which we can post is where the three of us when we're at the hotel. It's the clearest you'll ever see Mount Etna. It's beautiful, and you could see it, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. I want to go there, you know. And we went to what was the other one? Monoloth. There was another one we went to, but
Montreal.
yeah,
Well, that's the
before
church.
we yeah, that was an amazing. I love
The
that.
church is
We
cool.
turned before we went there. We turned around, went back down the mountain because the rain started getting harder and harder and harder, and we're like, ah. He goes, "We want to keep going." I'm like, nah, back with that. So we get in a vehicle. We're driving down the road, and in Taormina, they had walls on each side of the road, so water in the road couldn't get off. Well, remember, this is a place that it's 90 degrees typically. It's hot as hell. It's like it never, ever, ever rains here. It rains very rarely. Well, it's pouring, and the water is probably 4 to 6 inches, and it's washing down volcanic little tiny rocks. And as the water gets higher, the rocks are getting bigger that are coming down and they're rolling into the road and they're all coming down the road. So we're driving with it through it with his 4-wheel drive and we're coming down and that's when I asked him the questions like, wow, is it ever rain like this? And he goes, I think the words he used were not in my lifetime.
That's exactly what he said.
And he's lived there forever. So you're like, oh, okay.
Despite
So,
5 years
wow.
in Belgium or something like that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
don't think
that's
that
right.
it had a torrential downpour in those 5 years. I highly
but
doubt it.
but never. So we got to see it, and it's kind of cool because you're going down almost like you're driving through a canal of some sort. You're driving through, and the water is there. You're looking out, and you see all this stuff. You see water just pouring out everywhere. We get to the bottom. He says, "We're going to go the back way. We're not going to go the what was it? The superhighway way because all the water gets pushed onto the highway and it gets flooded because they don't have water. Why would they worry about it? You know." It's not like any other place. It's not like Florida. It's not like where, we need pools to save the water that washes off, or we need some type of a thing like that. They don't
No
have anything
French
like that.
drains in Italy, surprisingly.
Yes, exactly. So
Surprisingly.
that was just very, very cool. And then he drove us through the little towns on the way back, and we saw those. And then the next night, that's when we took the tuk tuk. We went to the top. There's a mountain, and that was the Malarino.
The way you remember these words is
Yeah, I have
awesome.
no
I
idea.
love the way
Yeah.
your brain remembers things. It's phenomenal. It's great.
It's like is it kind of like a pinball machine where the light just goes ping, and then oh yeah, I remember that.
I'm
And
surprised when
then
we went to Saigon that you weren't like, say John. We went to St. John, even though we live on Saigon Road. Oh, that's great.
yeah,
What was
went to Cambodia too, but we're not talking about that, right?
Angkor Wat? Yeah, we went to
Yeah,
Angkor Wat. That was
yeah,
probably one of the top three things I've ever done in my life. That was really, really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But
There's more.
I
There's
digest.
so much more.
I digest.
We
What
did that. We did the tuk tuk tour up the hill. That
top
was
three
so cool.
tours? That was top three of the
That
90
was,
tours we
yeah,
did.
that was amazing.
That was
Yeah,
incredible.
she was really good. Uh, she took us to the church. I got to stand in front of the church, and I did my
Cave church.
uh, cave church. It was a church made out of a volcanic cave.
I thought it was just cave. I didn't think it was volcano.
Oh well, I just made that up because
And
it
then
sounded better.
like
It
the
was on top of a
story
mountain. It had to be a volcano. Come on,
story was like a boy went in there when he ran away from home or something. And then he
that's
lived
right.
there for like a year by
Yep.
himself. Kind of like the Count of Monte Cristo, but
And then
then
they came in and they
about one tenth of
painted
the
his
time.
picture against where he was found.
I thought he
Wasn't he
painted
dead when
that.
they found him?
I thought he
Oh,
painted
he
that.
painted that. And
Yeah.
then they made the church all based on that,
Hmm.
you know. And it was neat, but it was tiny, you know. And then the place we went to was I went to I got to look when I went to the top, the hotel we stayed at the very end was really
Hotel
cool.
Timeo was where we stayed.
Timeo.
Yeah, with a
And
great,
that
great
is
view.
I stayed at the Parco Aliacho. Oh,
And we
I'm
ate
trying to
the
remember.
best club sandwich I've ever had
Chicken Club.
in my life. Yeah, Chicken Club.
Yes. And that is a picture of the Coliseum.
Well, that actually came out really well.
The Coliseum was
Wasn't
just
all
right
blown
above
out.
me. Yeah.
And for all of you watching on the video, here you go.
The
Here's a
Coliseum.
picture. Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
never went
Coliseum.
up there. Yeah,
It was
it was cool.
really, really good shape. We went to the one in where did we go to the Coliseum? We went to the Coliseum in the first place we went to in Palermo, didn't we?
Oh, that
We
was
had one day.
outside.
One
That
day
was
we
like in
went
the
to an
outskirts or
outside
something.
Coliseum and it was pain in the ass to walk up to and go down to, and we did a bus tour and it was a sacred whatever the heck it was. We went there.
I don't
That was
remember.
the day your mother got sick. Was that her mother? Yeah, she got sick that day.
She's my
We had to
mother.
come
Yes.
back. Yeah, she got sick. We had to come back. And but that Coliseum was nice. This Coliseum was wow, crazy good, really good. I mean, that's the one thing I noticed about Sicily is when they talked about their history. Not like every one of the guys talked about their history, but they would go through the different things and say, we had the first domination and the second domination and the third domination and the fourth domination and the fifth domination. And they would talk about the different people that dominated them and the Normans and the Muslims and
The Greeks too.
the Greeks and the Phoenicians and I mean, it was just like they never said the Muslims. What did they say? The
Arabic people.
Arabic people, so you could see it in all of their architecture because it was like 2,500 years. And the weird thing is after World War II, you would have thought they would have bombed the Valley of the Temples and all these different things out of existence because so much got lost, gets lost in war. They did that to Iraq. I mean, Iraq had things that were 3,000 years old and it was all blown up and destroyed because it's like we
Oh, in
want to wipe
Jordan,
out
yeah.
people's history because they were never, they were never there. Well, they didn't. And you can see the Greek structures from then. And it's just amazing to think about the way that they designed
Well, that
things
was like the
that long
Parthenon in
ago
Greece in Athens.
in
During the
Athens.
1800s, they had a bunch of they used it as a storing facility for gunpowder, and then they got hit with a
Yeah.
cannonball and blew up. And that's why
I
the
thought it was
Greek
in World War
construction.
II that they bombed the roof of the Parthenon.
They might have been that, and then they were using it as
And
gun
that's when they
storage
blew
or
the roof
gunpowder
up.
storage.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
So I remember
There's like
them
one
telling
thing I
us that.
said
I'm like, that. Why would you ever use an ancient ruin for gun storage? That doesn't
because
seem like a
nobody would
great
bomb it.
idea. Oh, well, okay, there we
Well,
go.
it's kind of like, if you were trying to hide stuff, you would put it in a children's hospital.
It's a fair point.
Nobody would bomb that,
Except
right?
in Gaza, apparently they are doing that anyway.
I
But
can't believe you're going right to politics. That's just
right,
so horrible.
disgusting. It's disgusting.
Disgusting, disgusting,
Aren't we
disgusting,
more than just
disgusting.
political tropes? We're
Yep.
human
Well,
beings,
I'm not
for
sure. Well,
gosh
here we are.
sakes.
We're doing this on the eve. This is the episode. This is not going to be released for a month, but
No,
it's
one
like
week.
1 week. Oh,
Yeah,
well, this
because
is
we
going to
have
be
one coming
right
out on the first, which
before.
is entertainment, and
This
then
is
this is
right
coming
before
out.
the election. The election's coming
Yeah,
up. And what is today? Today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days.
it's gonna be crazy.
So we may or may not do another one. Maybe we could do an election special, which would
I
to
think you'd
wipe
like
out
that.
half of our 30 million listeners,
Yeah,
so we don't want to do that. We want
maybe
to
not.
pander to people so we can get more as opposed to but we still don't want to be cowards like Jeff Bezos.
No, no, he is a coward. Oh, Huston's
Yeah.
Pizza, we are seeking corporate sponsorship from you as well. You have
Yes.
recently reposted a photo of me on your Instagram with the CEO of Huston's Pizza on my shirt. We would like what do we want? We want one gift $10 gift card a month for the rest of our lives. Um in return, we will do a 45 to 1 minute ad on every single episode. The ball is
We
in
need
your
to
court, and we expect to be hearing from you soon.
you should just wear the shirt while we're filming.
Every time. I could do that. We
Yeah,
could do the
wouldn't that be
45
different?
to a minute plug,
Well, you wear it one
and then
time, I'll
I'll
wear it
wear it.
another.
Okay, I like that.
There you
I like
go.
that idea. I will tag Husson's Pizza in the description of this video and see
Yeah.
if we can do that.
See if people actually listen to the end to learn about what they got, the value that they got out of listening to this. What did you learn? Well, I learned that I
I learned
learned
that your
that
microphone is messed up.
you don't need to overbook tours.
Nope.
I learned that I don't need to go to every church in every city I go to. I can visit just one. I think I'm going to go down and say, let's hit one or two. Let's not hit seven. Because after like the second one, you're just like, I think I'm going to shoot myself.
Well, it's kind of
You
like
know,
seeing turtles in the Galapagos. You see one turtle, you seen them
that's true.
all. Fun
Yeah,
fact.
not one. You
You
you would
see
want to
two
see it.
turtles, you
You want to
seen
see
them
them in a
all.
different environment. You want to see them in a different environment. At the Darwin place, we saw them once, and then we saw them again on the island. That was cool. After that, didn't need to see them again. Same thing with the what were the little guys that the lizard dudes?
Oh, iguanas.
Iguanas. You would want to see a land iguana. You want to see one swimming in the ocean, which
You
we
want to
did.
see
We
a
saw like
water,
many.
a
You want
submarine
to see them
iguana, they
walking
call them.
around on land where they're all on top of each other. It looks like they're all procreating.
It does look
And
like that.
then what was the other one? There's a land, a sea, and a turtle. I mean, there
The
was
sky, there's one that flies probably.
probably in trees, but they didn't have many trees there, did they?
Hmm.
It's funny about those islands. They did well, not an excessive amount. It's
Not
usually what happens
excessive.
is people come in there and they wipe out the area where the trees are, and the trees just don't come back, and they're shocked. You know,
That
they
happened
wipe
to
out
my
the area.
basil plant this year. I cut a bunch off and then it died because it didn't have sun because I live on the backside of a building. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, that's when my life started going downhill. That's when it started going
Well, I think
downhill.
you need to get a grow light.
Well, Jeremy is dead now. Jeremy, the basil plant. He's
Really.
gone. He's gone with
Did you guys
the
have? Are you
wind.
going to have a service or no?
Well, I gave it to my squatter neighbor who recently got evicted, and then
Yeah.
I don't
What
really
did he
know. I think
say?
they threw it out the pot because he was dead in the pot for a while.
Your neighbor was dead, or the Jeremy was dead?
Jeremy, the basil plant was
I think it's
dead.
funny that you know the name of your plant, but you don't know the name of your neighbor.
No, well, I'm protecting his what is that identity?
That's
There
what
we
I
go.
would say. Well, so Jeremy doesn't deserve protection. That's
I
what you're
guess
saying.
Jeremy the basil plant. Well, he's dead now. So when I die, I
Okay.
don't think that I my identity needs to be protected. People will
Okay.
all know that I was indeed
A
Spider-Man.
lover of Sbarro.
All that as well. Spider Sabaro Man. I like that. Man, I do
Yeah.
love Sabaro. So good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part
Wow.
of Sabaro? The Sabaro experience?
My favorite part when I eat a Sbarro is not seeing a rat dying.
I started laughing prematurely because I knew you were going to say about the time we were
When
in a
you see,
Sbarro and there was a rat in a glue trap.
yeah, and then we watched him die. And I would tell you that's not that makes me like not want to eat there. I don't know why.
No,
But I mean it's like it's funny how seeing the rat in the trap in one Sbarro affected my feeling in all the other Sbarros.
this is
I
not
don't know
going to
why
be
that
good for our
is.
corporate sponsorship with
This is
Sbarro.
kind of
This
well,
is
you know what
not
it's
going to
like?
be
It's
good.
like McDonald's sales goes down everywhere when you find a little old E. coli in one, you know?
Chipotle does the same thing.
Same thing. I don't know why. Well, you assume that they get all the food from the same distributor, and you're like, well,
Well,
could have
Romaine,
been
time and
somebody
time
there
again,
just taking a crap in the food.
I don't, I don't know why romaine.
I
Well,
don't know where that came
listeria
from, but it
too.
just seemed like
Well,
apropos
coli.
considering everybody's eating E. coli, and usually that's associated with your excrement.
Coli is
You know,
really bad, but they also had listeria issues, which is like almost worse,
is that a
right?
frog?
No, that's a like a neuro brain thing. And neuro and brain mean the same thing, but I
Okay,
wanted to double
I'll go
down
with the
on it.
frog thing. I like that better.
But it makes you crazy. It makes you
Yeah.
crazy, and then you die. And it's
Wow.
really quick too, from what I understand. It's like
Yeah.
4 days, 5 days.
Oh, well, that's
Somebody
not
fact
bad.
check me in the comments. I'd like to be fact checked on
What's
that.
the one? Well, remember when what's his name put what was it? The white powder and the
Anthrax?
sugar. Yes, and the sugar tablets, and she always uses her what was it?
What is
Oh
this?
my God.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about Breaking Bad. When at the very end, remember the one lady that came out and said, "Well, I'm just going to wait for you to die." And
Hmm.
she'd made coffee, and she said, and he said, "I want you to promise. I want you to promise." And she's like, "Okay, I promise." And then he talks to her a day or two later, and she goes, "I don't have to keep a promise. I can do anything I want."
Hmm.
He goes like, "Sounds like you have a cold, so it must be working." And she's like, "What?" He goes, "Well, there's one thing you do every single time we meet. You reach over and you take the top two packets of Sweet and Low, and you put it in your coffee. I know that. And you know what? When you're coughing and you feel like you can't get rid of the cough, that's day two of a 4-day process in anthrax." And it was just like something to that effect. But
I don't remember that. I need to
I
go give
do.
that a
I
watch.
remember him talking to her on the phone and she's coughing, and it's like he's telling her how long she has to live, and that, yeah, why don't you worry about me? And it's like, because you're gonna be fucking dead. And it was just the way he said it and the way he's walking through. And she's so confident when she comes on the phone, but she has a bad cold. And the bad cold is like, that's a cold you're never going to get over.
He
But
really
that's like the,
transcended the TV into movie career path. That's not often seen, but he really did. Because I guess Breaking Bad, if you think about it, hour and 20-minute episodes.
Mhm.
That means that, yeah, I don't know why it seems as if those extended episodes make it so that you're a movie actor.
But
But
he's a good person too.
no, he's an amazing
You
actor
know,
as well. Trumbo was
I think,
fantastic.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You ever
When you
seen
start to
that?
look at some of his stuff, he was at Seinfeld, he's in all these different things. And when he seems to be, he's humble
Bryan
and he
Cranston.
helps people. He tells a story when he was in Seinfeld, and it's like he's sitting there, and I love the one where he's the dentist.
He's
And he
so
goes,
funny
I'm
as the
sitting
dentist.
there, and he goes, I'm like talking to Jerry about, Jerry leaves and everybody's leaving. I'm on the set, and I'm practicing, being a dentist in front of a chair. And he said the guy sitting there, and he goes, it'd be funny if you took a hit first. I said, what? And he said it's a guy fixing the lights. Tells me it does. So I didn't tell anybody. I go, and so Jerry sits down. I'm getting ready to work on his teeth, and I pull down the gas mask because I'm going to put gas. And yeah, it's on. It's on. It's working really well. And then I put it on him, and it's like everybody just died when they heard that. And they're like, that was the greatest thing you've ever done. He said, I think they won an Emmy for that episode, and that was part of the reason. And he's like, well, where did that come from? And he goes, well, it was the guy that was fixing the light because he said it would be funny. And I thought, like, yeah, that is funny. You know, if your dentist took a hit of the nitrous before he started to work on you to see if it was working.
That's really good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
phenomenal.
that was it. It was very good. So what do we learn? We should wrap.
All right,
We should
let's wrap it up. Yeah, I was
we
looking
should
at the
wrap up.
clock. We're running out of all right, we're not really running out. We have unlimited time to do this. But thank you guys for listening today. Go check out the YouTube Record of My Father podcast. Now Instagram has the reels. If you don't like YouTube, you can go on Spotify, which is a Record of My Father podcast. You can also go on the Spotify, a Record of My Father podcast there. Or just check out our website, listen to it for free there as well, a Record of My Father podcast.com. Or no, is it just no, it's recordofmyfather.com for just
So
the
what did we
website.
learn?
We learned many
Stuff about
things.
Cincinnati, the acting quality in Cincinnati. We
The
learned
food's
about the
great.
food in Sicily. We learned about the number of churches you need to go to in each city, the temples and things that you get to see, and why it's not important to see every single one. It's better to see some of the high quality ones. I think we learned a lot of good things, or we spoke of a lot of good things, and the travel experiences that went with them. And it was. I mean, I got to tell you, it was great traveling with you and your mother. It was just a great time.
Oh, it was
You know,
fantastic.
we
And we love each
that
other. And I think we'll leave it
yeah, yeah,
on
that's
that.
weird, man. That's
Good old
really
family
strange.
love. All right. We'll talk to you guys
Yep.
later.
Bye.